Israel should listen to the threats of its enemies more than the promises of its allies. That's a warning delivered by Israel's former ambassador to the UN, Denon. I spoke with Denon after President Biden addressed the UN and said the U.S. still wants to rejoin the Iranian nuclear deal. U.S. President Joe Biden made his speech to the UN General Assembly. He talked about going back to the Iranian nuclear deal, the JCPOA. What were your thoughts about that, about actually going back to the original deal?
It was a bad deal in 2015, and today it's even worse. We hope it will not happen. And look what happened only a few hours before the speech of President Biden. All of a sudden, the Iranians announced that they are willing to go back to negotiations. They are playing, they are cheating, they are not honest. And we hope that the US and other democracies will not fall for the traps of the Iranians, will not go back to the JCPOA, because going back to the agreement, it's basically giving the legitimacy to the Iranians to continue with their ambitions to achieve a nuclear bomb.
A lot has happened in the last 6 years since 2015. Iran is really just one step away from military-grade uranium. How much of a threat does Iran pose now in 2021 than it did in 2015?
So no one can argue that they deceived the international inspectors. No one can argue that today they are in a better place. And always they say we don't want it for military usage. They are lying. We proved it. We saw it in the archive we obtained from Tehran, that they were lying from the beginning. So today they are closer to achieving a bomb. And I want to remind you what happened with North Korea. The US was speaking with them, negotiating with them. One morning we woke up and North Korea announced we have the bomb. We cannot let it happen with Iran.
Does this put Israel in a difficult position? If the US wants to go back to the deal, is it possible that Israel will have to do something militarily?
We have to defend ourselves. I remember a meeting I had with Eli Wiesel of blessed memory when I walked into the UN my first day, and he told me, listen very carefully to the threats of your enemies more than the promises you get from your allies. So we shouldn't think about the promises we get from the US or from the EU or from the UN. We should listen to the threats coming from Tehran, and we will do whatever is necessary to protect ourselves.
What do you expect to hear from the Prime Minister next week when he speaks to the UN?
A strong statement about the threats of Iran, and that Israel will not be part of any agreement that will allow Iran to obtain a nuclear bomb.
Alpha.